Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I'll be your server tonight. My name is Professor Nez. um, how's everybody doing tonight? You can see by the title here and the overlay that I have there, social media versus real life. Another episode of hashtag MIDNIGHTNEZ. A completely different vibe, a completely different mood, a different facet. Do I contradict myself? Yes. Why? Because I contain multitudes. I contain the entire world. I wanted to go live here just to really just kind of hang out with you guys and just say hello. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you just get a hankering to go live, and it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. Modern Day Tech, how are you, dude? Good to see you. Crypto's in the house. What up, man? How are you guys? Good to see you guys. You can tell by the title here. You see the hashtag. I know you love the hashtag. It's good to see you guys. Flash fam, what up? How are you, sir? I really just wanted to kind of go live and say hello and just kind of see how you guys are doing. And I had a really cool suggestion from somebody in our group, Luis, as a matter of fact, who's one of our cool mods. And I thought, if you're on Periscope or Twitch, come on over to YouTube if you want me to acknowledge you in the chat. It's just a little bit more kind of streamlined into that kind of platform. Good to see you guys. How are you guys this evening? Yeah, share this out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wow, Neil. Very cool, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Roz, good to see you. How are you guys? Flash had a really cool live stream earlier today. So Luis, kind of gave me the idea. I went into our group and I said, what do you guys, I might do a pop-up tonight. And I wasn't really sure I was going to do a pop-up. I just got done with a client meeting. And I wasn't really planning on going live, and I don't even know if I'm even going to keep this. Pretty much you can ask me anything you want. I don't want to go into my whole spiel. Hi, I'm Professor Nez. I'm a personal branding coach. And, I don't want to get into all that. This is just a hangout. I just want to really keep it loose and really keep it fun. And this is not a bashing of like, hey, people on social media are fake. Or like, don't trust everything you see. This isn't some sort of political grandstanding against social media or the illusions that come with social media, although that sometimes exists. That's not what this show is all about. As a matter of fact, if anything, I'd like to say that, being a personal branding coach, you see, I can't help myself. Being a personal branding coach, I tell my clients and I advise them all the time to do this. I say, don't worry about being a thespian. Don't worry about, I am a little bit stuffy. We were kind of having our almost like an early hay fever kind of thing going on here in Southern California. But it's probably just because I'm working so damn much, because y'all know that I work 24/8. It's really interesting. Hey, Sarasota Experience. Lenny's in the house. Good to see you. Lenny is a new member of the Nez Nation family. Very cool to have you here. It's kind of like that time of year. Almost, it's come so early since we've had so much rain. Everything has been blooming. I mean, we've had the hillsides. I was going to go into that song. The hills are singing with blossomings and bloomings that we've never seen before here in this part of the country. We've never seen this kind of blooming before. And so if you hear my voice a little stuffy, I don't know, does it sound at least a little bit sexy or anything? Or is there anything do I get any kind of benefit of having a little bit of a kind of stuffy, cold sounding voice? Or is it just whatever? Is it just Nez? There's no such thing as Nez and sexy in the same sentence. Why are we going there? I have no idea. It just kind of went there. But I just want to say, hey, man, I just want to say hello. I just felt like going live. And feel free to talk about anything. How's everybody doing out there? Let's see. We've got Roz says, I'm having a late lunch here. Roz is on the other side of the planet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Roz, but you're in Australia. You're not in New Zealand, are you? Neil says, you sound like you're full of a cold. Yeah, probably. Happy Tuesday to you, Lenny. Good to see you. It's Wednesday here, Ross Bounty, but it's 3:18 a.m. So you're just getting off work, Neil, or what are you up to? Flash says, where about down under are you? Yeah. Dead sexy. Thank you, Eric. Eric, you're classic. Yeah, I mean, speaking of, thank you so much, Lenny. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the kind of topic here, and feel free to chime in here. This is not an organized, this is a total impromptu. I just wanted to go live. I just wanted to say hello. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep this. Probably not. Not that I'm like, oh, you're so important, you're not going to keep this. No, nothing like that. But just, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really, I don't have any plans. One of the things that speaking of social media versus real life, and I hope Luis shows up because this was your idea. But why I do these Midnight Nezes and why I like these is because, and I think the last one I did, correct me if I'm wrong, Neil will probably know this. The last Midnight Nez I did, I was talking about, being a father and how being a father is, not what it's not always roses and pistachios. I don't even know what that means, but it's not all gravy. And it can be very, very difficult. I mean, raising another human soul can be quite the conundrum, quite the dilemma. There's no book on that. I mean, there's plenty of books on it, but they're all bad. And so, that you wouldn't think of somebody being a personal branding coach and being somebody who's a professional speaker and a business communications professor and a content producer, a LinkedIn ambassador. You wouldn't think that that's something that I would want to put out on my channel, is to have some kind of confessional late at night in a live stream, blasting it all over the internet. But as a matter of fact, that video has done amazingly well, and I've gotten probably some of the most engagement from that video. And this goes to show you that the more, maybe the lesson here for you guys trying to create content and trying to get more attention and trying to grow your brand and trying to grow your YouTube subscribers and grow your presence, maybe therein lies the sort of, metaphor or the lesson, the more you kind of strip away that sort of shield that most people kind of project on social media, the more you kind of strip away that, I got to always be glossy and shiny and, I got to be on, quote unquote. The more vulnerable you are, the more real you are, the more engagement. I mean, that's been true for me since day one. I mean, not that I ever put on a posture, but there's nothing wrong with putting on a posture. Like, I don't want to front. I don't want to say that, there's a lot of great, amazing brands that they use characters, they use mascots, they use these personifications of who they are, but they're not really who they are. They use caricatures of themselves. And it's beautiful branding. That's fantastic. That's theater. I love theater. That's Shakespeare. That's that's the whole point of art and entertainment, is to use these artifices to our advantage. I have nothing wrong with that. But I think when most people maybe see that title, social media versus real life, they might think that, it conjures up this image of, oh, okay, so, or you tell me, I don't know, what do you guys think? When you see that title, what does that kind of conjure up for you? For me, it conjures up, okay, so you're going to talk about how people are really fake on social media and they're not who they really are. Well, yeah, sometimes, but not always. And no, that's not the impetus of the show at all. Not at all. Eric, it's good to see you, Modern Day Tech. Yes, I want to strangle my dog. You're not the only one, Eric. Thank God. Stony Creek. How are you, Stony Creek? It's good to see you, man. Wow, we missed you on Sunday, man. How's everything going? It's good to see you, Stony. Fantastic. Let me know if I'm coming in okay. Let me know if I sound okay. If you're listening to this on Twitch, I am doing a multicast, a simulcast. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go live on Instagram too, just because I haven't done a quadcast in ages. I mean, I haven't done a quadcast since the beginning of time, I think. And so I think it would be kind of cool to do a quadcast. So I'm going to go live on Instagram too. And come on in, Instagram. Good to see you guys, Instagram. We're talking about social media versus real life. It's Professor Nez here. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Periscope, and you want to join the chat, I'm focusing mostly on YouTube, so I'm on YouTube as well at ProfessorNez.com, YouTube.com/Professor Nez. Come on in and join us over there. We're talking about, it's hashtag MidnightNez. Some real talk. There's no plan. There's no script. There's no bullet points. There's no screen share. There's no guest. It's just yours truly bearing his soul for you, which is what I love to do. See what I do for you guys. I suffer for you guys. You see how I bleed for you and I suffer for you. Anything for you. Hey, Sethy's in the house. Now we're talking. Hey, now we're talking over here. We got Sethy in the house. By the way, if you haven't already, don't forget to smash. Where's Charlie? Smash that smash button. You might want to do that. Hey, good to see you, DH, in the house. Doug Hewson. How are you, DH? Good to see you. Lenny says, real life wins all the time. Been a dream most of my life, says Flash. One day I will get to Aussie land. Yeah, I need to go. I've never been. Never been to Aussie land. Never been to New Zealand. One of our good colleagues, Mr. Justin Brown over at Primal Video, who does just amazing stuff with his content. I can't believe I missed you, Justin, at Vid Summit. I mean, that just makes absolutely no sense at all. Neil, are you over on Instagram now? Neil, you see what I did there? Neil, you see how clever and how genius Nez is? Do you see how I did that, Neil? You wish you could do that, Neil. I know you wish you could do that. Let me see if I can get this picture right. Okay. Neil, I know you wish you could do that. I'm not going live on Twitter. Is that right? I thought I was going live on Twitter. I should be going live on Twitter. Am I not? I don't know, guys. Here's, we got a lot of great live streamers in the house. Tell me I'm wrong, but doesn't it seem like Periscope has just been... I keep getting these, like, something's going on with your activity or something's happening with your activity. It says that I'm live on Twitter. Am I not live on Twitter?
I don't know, guys.
See, I'm getting the playback. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Tell me I'm wrong.
How do I mute this? There it is. Yeah, so I am live on Twitter, it looks like. Okay. At least it says I am. And Instagram can see everything that I'm doing right now. That's great. So it does say, actually, you know what? Let me bring this over for you, Instagram in the house. Let me bring this over a little bit more so you can see more of Nez. Neil, are you over there on Instagram? I can see you. Yeah, I should be live on whatchamacallit as well. On Twitter as well. At least it shows up for me. Let me know if you can see me. Sethy, it's so good to see you. Sethy says, no notifications. Thank goodness for Twitter telling me to check it out. Thank you so much. And DH, yes, I agree. Justin is a fantastic creator. Absolutely. I totally agree. Flash says, what do you use to multi-platform stream? I use Restream, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not very crazy about Restream. But I shouldn't be here. I'm teaching right now. Hey, you know what? Play hooky once in a while, Flipped. You deserve it. Give them do what I do when I want to go live during class. Give them a pop quiz. Say, class, good news. Good news. You don't have to hear me pontificate. You don't have to hear me go on a rant. We're going to do a pop quiz. Did you do the reading? Oops. Yeah, man, do that. By the way, I would like to say a heartfelt shout out to Christina Smallhorn, a.k.a. your real estate whisperer. Christina, if you're out there, I'm wishing you nothing but the best, you and your family, especially your father and what's happening right now. Just want to say all the best. I'm wishing you nothing but the best. Thoughts and prayers coming your way. I hope everything works out, and I hope everything turns out okay. Wishing you nothing but the best. 8 seconds, really, Neil? Yeah, YouTube usually has some serious lagging issues. That's for sure. I should probably, I should go back to having this on here, and then that way Instagram will be in real time, because Instagram has been watching YouTube. Yes. They're all working and engaged. Follow-up questions? Ask Nez. Yes, exactly. Ask Nez anything. Ask me anything. Ask me anything. What's going on? What's happening? I mean, the title of the broadcast is Social Media versus Real Life. I think you would be... I think that you would be very, clouded if you thought, I'm trying to be nice here and not be, judgmental, but I think you would be very cruelly deceived if you believed everything on social media. So this is not a like, hey, real life is better than social media, or social media bashing real life, or real life. It's not. This is not about that. If anything, what I want to kind of incorporate here is that you kind of encapsulating you. If people, if you feel that you would do better with some kind of an artifice, aka a character. I've done characters before in my past. I mean, Professor Nez really is a character. I mean, Nez, who I am, Nez is moody and different and can be dark, and that's what MIDNIGHTNEZ. I mean, MIDNIGHTNEZ. Maybe MIDNIGHTNEZ is a character. I don't know. But what's the difference, right? I mean, does it really matter? Can you really? Does it? I mean, is it real life versus real life? Social media versus real life versus social media? Everybody is, as Shakespeare said, we are all players, right? And the world is a stage. Or is it backwards? The world is a stage and we are all players. Everybody's an actor, really. I mean, what's real? What is real? How do you classify as real? I always say trust your intuition. I feel I'm a pretty good read on people. There's not a lot of things that Nez is great at. I want to curb my narcissism here. But when it comes to reading people, I like my antenna. I think my radar is very sharp. And more often than not, it's right. And I feel like I can read people really well. Flash says, I stopped multi-platform streaming till I got my new system. I saw your new tower, man. That was pretty killer. I'm really stoked. I'm up to 64 gigs. I know Neil's got something crazy like 128. But I have upped my RAM to 64 gigs. And it seems like, all the problems that I had before, knock on wood, have not been arising. So I'm very, very excited about that. Eric says, don't feed Nez after midnight. Yeah, feeding Nez after midnight, the monster comes out to play. It's not a good thing. I'm trying to kind of not eat so much late at night because usually I'm most hungry late at night because I'm so busy during the day. I don't really have a chance to eat like a decent meal. So I usually eat at night. Hence that's like the worst time. I think the philosophy or methodology of eat like a king in the morning, a prince at lunch, and then a pauper at night. So as you gradually progress through your day, you eat less and less and less. Whenever I've done that, and I have not done that in a very long time, but whenever I've implemented that, I've been in my best shape, the best shape of my life. I've been thin. I felt good. I slept good. I woke up good. Waking up hungry is a good feeling, as opposed to waking up full because you had 3 pieces of pizza at 2 a.m. That's not good. Not good at all. Thank God. Okay, Neil says her dad's doing well, has been up and walking about. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Yes, very good news. That is really great news. Let's see. Sethi says, I'm running an April Media Mentor Month event at our school. Ah, really cool. Wow. So this is perfect. In charge of digital citizenship classes. That's so cool, man. Great to hear that, Sethi. You're not showing this to your class, are you? Class? This is what a 21st century professor looks like. Well, Sethi's a good example of that, too. Neil says, believe in social media is as good as Googling your 6 symptoms. Yeah, that's a good analogy. That's true. Modern Day Tech says, do not feed. Yeah, you don't. Crypto says, yeah, I'm running a big fella here, 128 and 2 1080s. Wow, she's a powerhouse. That is beautiful. Roz, don't leave. Roz, don't leave me. I'm gonna sing some Elvis. Treat me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel, but don't you ever, ever, ever go. Roz, don't leave me. How could you leave? How could you leave me, Ross? Don't argue with me. Elvis is the greatest entertainer that ever lived, and if you argue with me, I will ban your ass right now. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. It's okay. What's for dinner, Nez? Well, I had some chicken, and I had some cucumbers, some tomato salad, a little cucumber tomato salad, and a couple of fries, which I probably should not have eaten. But no, after this, it's going right back on the laptop. I got a lot of work to do. I got to catch up on a lot of work. Have you guys smashed the smash button? Probably not. Doesn't really matter. It's okay. I'm Professor Nez everywhere, Flash, and I should be on Twitch right now. And, you know, being a personal branding coach, let me tell you something. That is a platform that I have really, really struggled with. And maybe for good reason, because I don't know. Do I really need to be on Twitch? Probably not. Yo, Todd's in the house. Good to see you, Todd. Go check out our YouTube channel, Todd, if you want to join the chat. I just kind of have Instagram. By the way, really quickly, Todd just published. Correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but you just published the first part of our interview series on LinkedIn Live. How many of you are excited? I mean, I'm going bonkers because I'm going to be honest with everybody here watching and listening, and I don't care who's watching and listening. I'm not excited for the people who have LinkedIn Live right now. I get really jealous. I feel like LinkedIn, if you're watching, I feel like I'm your boy. Like, I advocate for you guys. I've been advocating you guys for 10 years. I've got 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm a major player in that space. I feel like a neglected son. What the hell is going on over there? Super bummed that I don't have LinkedIn Live. I'm not happy for anybody who has LinkedIn Live before me. I know that sounds terrible, but it's Midnight Nez. Midnight Nez is not about trying to be polite. Midnight Nez is about trying to be honest. And maybe this is a new character I'm going to bring out. Midnight Nez. Midnight Nez is the dark side of Professor Nez. Dare I say the real side? No, of course I'm happy. I'm just teasing. Don't take anything Midnight Nez says seriously. I'm practically loopy on zero sleep. I had to wake up. Oh, you want to hear a good story? I had to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning because my son, who just turned 7, his first grade class, his kindergarten teacher, the advisor, or some other BS bureaucratic term. There was 3 people in there. They wanted to meet me and my wife to talk about some concerns. Now, you guys in the UK, you're going to laugh at this, but especially in Europe. If you're in Europe, I know Sethi's in Europe. I think he is. Or are you in Thailand? I can't remember. This standardized testing crap is such a crock. The university, the universities included, but the entire educational system in the U.S. is, I mean, literally as broke as broke can be. It's just a broken system. It's almost as bad as the war on drugs. It's not working. It hasn't been working. They have not adapted to the 21st century. And all it's about is a numbers game. And, I mean, my son is maybe, they're giving him these tests. Like, if you have kids, let me know in the chat. They're giving him these tests where he has to sound out, they're called nonsense words. In order to learn how to read and write, he has to phrase out what's called nonsense words. And they were dead serious about this. They're like, he hasn't been doing good on nonsense word phrasing and sounding out. And, my wife gets very anxietal when I'm in the room when these kind of things are going on because I don't hold back. And of course, I got upset. And of course, they could see that fumes were coming off my head because it drives me crazy. The measurements and the barometer for what's considered, a student learning outcome proficient, kindergartner or first grader. It's just absolutely insane. And it just drives me absolutely nuts. Get in touch with Judy Fox. She might be able to help. Yeah, I've talked to Judy. She doesn't have it either. I think LinkedIn Live is only doing they're only doing like a few beta testing broadcasters, which makes me even more bummed and depressed why I wasn't a part of the beta broadcasters. I've only been I was one of the first people to talk about LinkedIn video. I made the prediction about LinkedIn Live back in early 2018. As a matter of fact, I think it was 2017. I made the early prediction that LinkedIn was going to go live. You guys know I talk about LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn consultant. I get paid by people to help them write their LinkedIn profile. I get paid by people to do interview coaching and career coaching and help them with their resume. I mean, for the love of God, LinkedIn, what in the world is going on over here? I mean, what do I got to do? Who do I got to make out with? Who do I got to sleep with? Who do I got to roll in the hay with to get LinkedIn Live? For crying out loud. I just go into some random Italian gangster character. It makes no sense. All my kids now have kids, but one empty nester here. Yeah, Flash. Lenny, that's smart. You know, my wife and I were talking about the problem with homeschooling, though, Lenny, is they're around all the time. That's a problem. I like breaks away from my kids. Now Neil's the exact opposite of me. Neil and even Christina, I was shocked to hear this. And I feel like the worst parent on the planet. But these guys, I mean, they do everything with their kids. I mean, everything with their kids. Me, I enjoy the time away. I enjoy the silence. Don't get me wrong. I love my kids. I love my kids to death. But, I definitely love the breaks. I love that silence. I'm a big fan of silence. Even though I like to talk a lot, and it may seem like when I do this live stream podcast, holy macadamia nutnez, you just never stop. I actually love silence. I'm a big believer in silence. Silence is the great gift. Solitude is the great gift. Neil says, he should be left to be a kid, coloring books. Yeah. I mean, check this out. This is an actual stat. You can look this up. Einstein, one of the greatest brains that ever existed, right? Albert Einstein, he didn't speak his first word. He did not speak his first word. They have all sorts of stupid, gradations and tests and metrics and analytics on if he should have said his first word by 2.6 years old. Shut up. Einstein did not say his first word until he was 4 years old, which by today's standards is literally a diminished capacity and somebody who deserves extra special attention and special education. Could you imagine if Einstein grew up in the era that we live in today? He would be stuffed full of so many drugs, so much Ritalin, so much God knows what. You think he would have had any room left for creativity with all that mush in his head and all those pills they would have been feeding him to help him with his curbed learning progress. All these phrases they use, they just drive me nuts. And I feel for the teachers. It's not them. It's the stupid administrators who've never taught a class in their life. They're the ones inventing this crap. But Neil, I totally agree. You got paid for your first voiceover today. Nice. When are you going to do my voiceover, bro? Come on, Neil, get with it. I'm away next week with my boy. We going camping. So you're going to miss my live stream show? Really, Neil? How could you? Flash says, if I lived close to my kids, I would do a hell of a lot more with them. Well, it's interesting because my kids right now they're really in that prime golden era. It's like right after the crazy toddler and right before the psycho teenage years, which are bound to come. So this is actually the good years, and I'm making a huge concerted effort. We went on 2 or 3 vacations last year. I know that sounds crazy. 2 or 3 vacations, that's it. I've been taking him to the park a lot more. I've been spending a lot more time with him, driving him to school more. It's really, really important. You're right, Neil. I need to send you the script for that. That's totally true. That's my bad. I do need to send you that. Don't forget to hit the like button. Now that's a mod right there. Thank you, Crypto Cruising. Neil, you are the man. Thank you for being the mod with the most. Hey, look who's here. Luis is here. I didn't see you, Luis. This whole stream was your idea, pal. This whole stream was your idea. Good to see you, Luis. Let's see here. I was born deaf. Really, Flash? You were born deaf. Wow. That's fantastic. I mean, that's not fantastic. Wow, that's fantastic. You were born deaf. Attaboy. No. That's not what I meant. What's fantastic is that you've obviously overcome that, because I know you're not deaf anymore. Well, that's pretty cool. How did that happen? That's interesting. Einstein, same here. 4 years old, I spoke my first word. Wow, interesting, Luis. Yeah, I gotta send you the script for that, laddie. You're right. Flash says, could not have surgery till I was 4. Interesting. You're going away Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, cool. You're gonna be there Sunday. Nice, Neil. Very cool. It wouldn't be the same without you, Neil. That's for sure. So chaos will be coming from a campsite with Wi-Fi. Wow, that will be killer. Oh man, I'm gonna mark that on my calendar. You're gonna go live while you're camping with your boy Crypto. That's amazing. That's going to be killer. I got to be there for that. I have got to be there for that. Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's just crazy to me that, all the countries, Finland, right, Sweden, I'm sure the UK is like this, Germany, Holland, Norway, Switzerland, they always rank the highest in the really important areas when they do the kind of cognition testing and all the major kind of sort of assessments. And there's no final exams, there's no quizzes, there's no homework, there's no tests, there's no standardized tests. What is everything? It's creative project learning based. It's using your imagination. It's using your creativity. That is the cornerstone. I just dropped my glasses. That is the cornerstone of a real education. That is the cornerstone of a real human being. That's what's going to differentiate us from the robots. And don't get it twisted, y'all. The robots are going to take over. They are going to take over. It's going to happen sooner than you think. And Terminator is a nonfiction movie. When I first saw Terminator, I was a kid when Terminator came out in the theater. I was a kid when Terminator came out. And I was scared to death. And I remember my friends and my uncle being like, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. It's nonfiction. What are you worried about? You worry too much, Nez. Hey, Nez, you worry too much. I said, this is not a movie. This is a documentary. This is a futuristic documentary. Because think about it. I mean, it just makes pragmatic, total practical sense. Think about it. What does a program do when it sees another program that's unnecessary? Okay, we have all sorts of malware and spyware and firewall. When there is an unnecessary program or a program that has no use, you don't keep it around for kicks and giggles. You delete it. What is going to stop the robots? What is going to stop these unbelievable mainframes when they go, they're going to finally, self-awareness, they're going to finally realize, why am I listening to this primitive primordial creature that doesn't even come close to my level of intelligence and level of, speed and level of accuracy and everything else? It's going to press the delete button. Terminator is a nonfiction documentary. It is not a movie. Totally is a nonfiction documentary. Might get Christina to host it. Oh, very cool. Very nice. Flash says, I can read that on the picture and I can't find it. I'll pick a few pans off eBay. Darn blonde fingers. AI can rebel and turn on us. Yeah, you could say that again. You could definitely say that again. AI can definitely turn I mean, it's just, I think it's an eventuality. How could it not? How could it not? It's just an eventuality, I think, at this point. At this point, it's just an eventuality. Yeah, so creativity, that's the one thing that's going to differentiate us. And if you've got an alternate life on social media, if you're posturing or if you're claiming to do things, I think there's I want to really differentiate this. If you're being entertaining and funny and you're not being real, that's totally cool with me. If you're pretending to be real and telling people that they've got this coconuts and yachts package that if you just pay them right now, you're going to become a millionaire online business owner, that's where I think it requires a lot more investigation. Okay, I think it's important to look at verification. It's important to do your own due diligence, investigate, find out if what somebody's, hawking is real or not, because there are a lot of charlatans, a ton of charlatans out there. Now, I help people with their business and brand, and they can actually make really good money, but I don't say it's going to happen tomorrow. I don't promise them coconuts and yachts. If all you need to do is open up start a YouTube channel, or all you need to do is just, build a website and they will come, right? And then they start buying shit from you. That doesn't happen. That's not reality. I try really, really hard to base everything on personal experience. I talk a lot about mindsets on this channel. I talk a lot about the dude inside here who is the number one obstacle to your success. I'm not a licensed, clinician or psychiatrist, thank God, because they're all full of crap. But I've gone through debilitating anxiety and depression for over 29 years. We talked about this on Creator Chaos livestream. I believe in what John Locke said, who was a famous English philosopher who inspired Thomas Jefferson, by the way, who says experience is the ultimate teacher. It's the ultimate professor. The ultimate professor is not this dude. It's not external. It's in here. That's the ultimate professor, is your experience. And so I feel that, you can tell. I mean, if it hits you, I always tell my class this: don't listen to a word I say. Don't believe anything I say. Verify it in the real world. Why do you need to know who you are? Why do you need to know your audience? Why is it important to be understood? Why is it that we think it's external things that matter, when really the epicenter of all your success and failure is inside? That's the epicenter of your success and failure. I base it on experience. I base it on what's actually happened in my life. That's the real deal schlemiel. And so, that I try really, really hard to make it very straightforward and very, very palpable that I am not claiming something outlandish and fantasy. Not that I have anything wrong with fantasy. Arthur Moorhead is in the house. Good to see you, Arthur. How are you? Did you smash the smash button? Make sure you smash that smash button. Flash says, I would like to talk to the shrink, or the shrink. Hey, I've talked. Well, here's the thing. Here's the deal. The reason why I'm able to kind of say that I think most psychiatrists are full of crap, because I've met with a lot of them. I actually saw a lot of them. Entrepreneur Box. Who is that? What up? Hi, Nez. Good to see you, man. Or woman. Entrepreneur Box. How are you? Come on in. Say hello. I've met with a lot of them. And actually, I'll never forget this. This was the big kind of breakthrough for me, which gave me really a lot of confidence. And I'll never forget her name. It was Dr. Osborne. Dr. Osborne, if you're out there, I'll never forget her name, because I was our first meeting, and I saw plenty of therapists. Remember, I was going through like crazy mental just mental hurricanes. I mean, just complete self-annihilation. At least it felt that way. It was all an apparition, but it was such a powerful ghost that I believed it. I'll never forget this. Our very first session, she was a brand new therapist that I was seeing. I was 23 years old, and she did what most therapists do when they initially start, is they say, okay, so tell me your story. What's going on? What's happening? What are you doing? What's working? What's not working? And I told her, and I think I spoke for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and she said, stop. She said, stop. And I was kind of like, whoa, what's this? And she said, don't ever come back into my office again. And I was like, whoa, I was 23 years old. I was like, what? Like, did I do, what I thought was, did I do something wrong? Did I say something? What happened? Why? And you know what she said to me, guys? She said, don't come back here ever again, because you know more about this than I do. And you just keep doing what you're doing. And from that day forth, in my mind, I became somebody who can speak on this stuff with authority. Because somebody who was a licensed doctor, she had her doctorate. She was a PhD in psychology. And she said, you know more about this than I do. Because it was me because it was me. It was my mind that was effing me up. It was my depression. It was my anxiety. It was my stress. And nobody cares more about you than you. They just don't. I had 4 surgeries on this arm right here. You see this arm right here? You see that big gnarly scar? I had actually 5 surgeries. 4 of them were unnecessary by so-called masters of orthopedic surgery who were full of crap, just charlatans trying to make money off of me. It wasn't until I investigated for myself, because it's my arm. I was told multiple times by so-called Mozarts of orthopedics that, you know, we're gonna have to amputate your arm because you've got this infection in there. It's impossible to get rid of. I was told all sorts of crap, right? Just to have surgery, just to make me have surgery. Anybody out there who has osteomyelitis, talk to me, because I've been through hell with osteomyelitis, which is a bone infection. And I found my guy. I found the Beethoven, I found the Bach of musculoskeletal diseases and bone diseases. And he said the exact opposite to everybody else. And, you know, when I did my thorough investigation, you know, I mean, can you imagine if I would have listened to one of those dudes? I'd be one-armed right now. I'd be the one-armed bandit. It'd be hashtag MIDNIGHTNEZ / one arm, or I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, you know, gotta feel like Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But the point is do your own due diligence. The point is investigate for yourself. Just because they're wearing a lab coat, just because they're wearing a white coat, doesn't mean that they're an authority. Just because they're standing in front of a classroom and they claim to be a professor doesn't mean that they're an authority. Just because they get on stage at Social Media Marketing World or Vid Summit doesn't mean they're the end-all, be-all. You got to learn very, very quickly that, you know, perception on social media is as much of a game as actually having a real tangible business or a tangible brand. Perception is like one of the pillars of the game, and people craft and mold and paste this image of themselves, and they project this out there. But you know, when the cat burglar, finally the light shines on the cat burglar, and he's got his handprint, you know, on the doorknob. That's when things start really, really getting bad boogie. Good to see you, Mike Paulus. Mike Paulus, how are you, sir? Good to see you. One of the guys in our Discord has just spent 2 weeks in the hospital after an attempted suicide. Thankfully, he failed. Wow. Is this the Discord that is this the Creator Chaos Discord, Crypto? The one with Trevor, which I still don't understand Trevor. I still don't get Trevor, but I think I missed that boat. I think I missed that whole explanation. You outshrinked her. That's exactly right. I did outshrink her. I outshrank her. That's right. Hey, good to see you, Sethi. Sethi's back. Going through it and reading about it are a whole lot of different things. Yeah, well said, Neil. Well said. You can't learn everything out of a book. You can get a lot of inspiration out of a book. You can get your mate, hashtag midnight tripod. My mate. Oh, your mate, hashtag Trevor. Okay. I still don't get it, but that's okay. I'm slow. I'll get it eventually. You didn't have to map it out for me. Yeah, so you know, do your due diligence. This is why I tell my students, don't believe a word. You'll never hear an actual professor. I dare you to find one, and I'm not trying to brag here. You'll never hear a professor in the history of the halls of the university, because 99.99% of professors have bigger egos than LeBron James. They got bigger egos than Tony Montana. You think Tony Montana has an ego? Let me tell you something. You got a major problem, because I'm telling you right now, all the professors at the universities, they got major egos. I mean, forget about it. They will never admit this. So I tell my class every single time, I say, don't believe a word I say. I want you to think I'm full of shit. Why? Not to sound cool, not to, come off as like, ooh, he's saying something kind of snazzy, saying something to kind of stir things up. He's just being controversial. No, investigate. Don't believe everything that I'm selling you. Find out why it's important to know who you are. Find out why it's important to be understood. Crafting a message, conveying your purpose to an actual audience. Why does it matter to have an inner game? Not so much an external game, but have a very strong inner game. Why does that even matter? Who cares, Nez? Well, you got to tell me. I always tell my students, investigate for yourself. Patty Broussard in the house. How are you, dear? It's so good to see you. How are you? Louise says, I'm always studying human behavior. Yeah. Trevor took a trip to go see Christina. Fantastic. Good. That's really good. Sadly, that's the state of education. Yeah, I mean, I went through 12 years, kindergarten through 12th grade. Then I went straight into the university system. And it wasn't until literally, I mean, I can literally remember the day my real education began. And it was the start of this dude right here, who was the ultimate teacher. You know, which is why one of my books is called A Conversation with Fear. It's literally a one-act play where a character, it's all dialogue, a character named Fear is teaching another character named after my son, Sam, how to overcome him. Fear and anxiety and depression were some of the greatest professors I've ever had in my entire life. If you look at it with the right pair of eyes. It was 1999. It was April of 1999. I'm sorry. No. It was October of 1999. It was late 1999. I graduated in spring of 2000. I got my bachelor's. When the absolute shitstorm hit the fan, and I was about 21, 22, maybe 23, I think, going on 23, and it was from that day forth all the way up until my 30s, basically, and it's still even into my 30s, where the absolute tyranny of the mind took over, and I was a walking ghost. I was a zombie. I was a shadow of who I really am, and it was the greatest. There were days where literally I just kind of teetered between the thought of, should I just do it? Should I pull a Hamlet to be or not to be? Or should I just face this suffering, the slings and arrows, right? There was literally 24-hour periods where that thought just kept going between. I just kept battling between those two thoughts. Should I just end it? Or I don't know if I've ever even, let alone on a live stream, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this. I don't even think my wife knows this. Yeah, and looking back, when I was in it, it was the worst thing worst thing ever. Looking back, greatest professor I ever had, because it completely humbled me. I wouldn't be who I am today, not even close, if it wasn't for the great curriculum that fear gave me, that anxiety gave me, that depression gave me. It was a wonderful class. It's the greatest diploma that doesn't exist. And so 12 years of K through 12th grade, and then another, 4 or 5 years, because I went a couple years, got my associate's degree. I didn't get my master's till much later. Got my bachelor's degree. So we're talking like at least almost 17, 18 years of school. And I didn't remember one molecule of it. That's how sad education is. I mean, all I remember are the girls. All I remember are the social relationships, the friends. Nothing stuck. Nothing of any import stuck. Geometry? Give me a break. Parameciums? Give me a break. What does a frog's liver look like? Biology? Give me a break. None of that stuff stuck. Why don't we talk about things like how to fill out a tax return, things like how to ask out a girl, things like how to be more human? Why don't we talk about that in school? We don't talk about any of that stuff in school. The real stuff that matters in school, which is why I created Beyond the Box Academy. I want real, tangible. All my entire heart and soul is poured into these courses at the BeyondTheBoxAcademy.com. Where did you get the name, Nez? Funny you ask. Let me tell you. Because a classroom is just a box. It's a jail cell. And if your learning doesn't go beyond the box, it don't mean jack. It's just a piece of paper that says I graduate. And there's a billion, trillion, you've heard the speech, zillion, dillion, quintillion people just like you who've got a piece of paper and it don't mean jack. You should have real, tangible learning that goes beyond the box. Hence, beyondtheboxacademy.com, the greatest online training academy. Tons of courses, which, by the way, I'm going to plug this. Use the code NEZNation. You get 30% off. I think that's pretty sweet. I'm not some marketing douchebag. Well, I mean, I can be that sometimes, but I'm an actual educator and trainer. My dad was a professor. My grandfather was a superintendent. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. I was born to do this, y'all. Wait, I got to put my glasses on. I got to read the chat. Let's see here. My journey began when I decided to pack it all up and move to the other side of the world. Very nice, Sethi. Good for you. Patty says, I love that. The education that fear gave you. Yes, so much. I mean, it's just amazing, Patty. It's amazing. And here's another thing too. Here's another unlikely source of the greatest education that I've ever had. And I'm going to create a video of the top 15, 20 books that knocked me on my ass from age 18 to 29. It's a gift that I usually give to my students at the end of every semester. It's a list of books that I give to my students of, authors like Dostoevsky or authors like Knut Hamsun, the Norwegian brilliant author, Guy de Maupassant, the French author. Hemingway's in there, Fitzgerald's in there, Salinger is in there, just W. Somerset Maugham is in there. It's a list of books that just, Woody Guthrie's book, Bound for Glory, which just makes my heart, I want to cry right now when I think of Woody. I'm going to actually create a video, which is going to be really elaborate and hopefully fun, but entertaining and educational too, where I go through each book and with some of the greatest professors, some of the greatest teachers I ever had. Anton Chekhov's short story, My Life. I read that book and cried every single week. I mean, I cried every single week when that book came out, or when I read that book. Unlikely sources, and that all came after I graduated. Rudyard Kipling's poem, If, probably my favorite poem of all time. Probably my favorite poem of all time. There's Sean. Sean is in the house. Sean's always got some controversy trailing him like a cloud of dust. How you doing, Sean? Good to see you. I pretend to be real. My bio says charlatan on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, but you're not a charlatan, Sean. Sean's the real deal. How you been, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. How's everything going with you, brother? I hope everything's going well. Yeah, no problem, Patty. No problem at all. No, I totally get it. This was completely unplanned. I didn't do my usual, grinding it out and getting on Instagram, Twitter, promoting it, going live on Facebook. I didn't even do my usual spiel of, hey, it's Professor Nez, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to go live. I felt like going live. I was in the mood, and when that mood arises, you got to respect that mood, because most of the times I just want to collapse and go to sleep around this time. When you're a father of two highly energetic lightning rods, also known as my son and daughter, boy, they just take everything out of you, boy. They just take everything out of you. Hey, Flash, it's fantastic to see you, brother. Flash fam, hashtag Flash fam. So good to see you, brother, and keep up the great work. Keep up the good stuff, Flash. I'm digging it. I'm really, really digging it. I've never read a book, true fact. You're out of your mind, Neil. Get out of here. You read plenty of books. They were just comic books. Those are still books. Louise says, one day I decided to take control of my speech problem that I had. I said, no more. I'm going to conquer my voice. Very interesting. Fantastic. Good for you, Louise. That's killer, man. That's very awesome. Yeah, Sethi, sometimes you got to do that because I like to mix it up. I like to just kind of just go live with. I like to be. I think you need to do purposeless things at times. It's okay to have no purpose once in a while. It's okay to loaf. It's okay to meander. It's okay to linger. It's okay to just kind of float once in a while. Just kind of get, you got to get loose. You got to get loose up in this caboose. So, yeah, I had to do it. I don't know. Something told me I was compelled. And Luis gave me the idea for the topic. And, when Midnight Nez takes a topic, it goes all over the place. Not that much different from my classes. It can go all over the place. Good night, Ed. Good to see you. Modern Day Tech is still in the house. Eric, how are you, sir? So, yeah, I'm going to create that video where I go through all the books that knocked me on my ass from 18 to 29. And those were some great professors. The conversation. So, fear, anxiety, depression, amazing professors. Some of the books that I mentioned, they're like my mothers and fathers I never had. Just amazing, amazing teachers. The conversations after the party. This is a big one for me. The conversations that I would have with my friends that were galactic conversations. And I had some of the best minds of my generation. I was very lucky as a young man to be blessed with true artists as friends. And, gosh, now that I think about it, I've kind of lost track with pretty much everybody. But there's a reason why people come and go in your life. There's a reason why they're there in your life. There's a reason why they're not there anymore in their life. Nothing is personal. There is a way to really accept everything with grace. I'm not saying that you act like a robot or an automaton, but grace can be present in suffering. There is grace in loneliness. There is grace in need. There is grace in want. The galactic conversations that I would have when everybody was done partying, when the noise stopped, the music halted, and the streets came alive with the buzz of the night lamps. There's just amazing, amazing conversations till 3, 4, 5 in the morning where it was completely unplanned, where it was completely unorchestrated, just natural conversations about life, truth, beauty, politics, poetry, meaning, non-meaning, everything. I mean, just the real good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And with plenty of jokes, with plenty of laughter. I mean, tons of laughter. But real, like, deep-seated uncoverings and deep-seated pointings and unfoldings of those resistances. Those were just. I was really blessed to have friends. I always had the most fun after the party. I never had, actually, you know what, to be quite honest with you guys, I was never a party dude. I never liked large, Neil, in your clubs and in your bars and all those, I wouldn't even be who I am. I'd be very curled up and I'd probably recoil. I was never because it was just too, no, don't get me wrong. Once in a while I'll get loose. Trust me, Nez will get loose. But I always had the most fun on the way home from the party. I always had the most fun when everybody else was crashed. It was just a few of us drinking those last sips of honey bourbon or warm beer and, just smoking a little dub and just really pounding the skull on multitudinous topics. Those were some of the greatest teachings, and most of that stuff happened after college, not during college. I went to a bunch of college parties. I hated all of them. I went to frat parties, hated all of them. Did not feel like I belong at all in any of that stuff. I always liked small get-togethers where I can actually talk to people, hang out with people. I don't need to be around strangers. There are times where I'll, but I don't have that need to be around strangers. I don't have that need to always be meeting new people. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, not. Yeah, I like the way you said that, Neil. Neil says, I don't go out because I don't like it, but I like to DJ and be in control of the room's mood. That's a whole different thing. You're the puppet master. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, you're controlling. It's this beautiful, elusive feeling of underappreciated control. Probably, I'm sure. Hey, Super Dave is in the house. How are you, Super Dave? What are you still doing up? Good to see you, man. Come on in. I'm not. How long have I been live? I have no idea. I wonder if I'm still live. I'm still live on Instagram, it looks like. Yep, I'm still live on Instagram. And, Sean Olavinsky was over on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure I'm still on Periscope and Twitch. At least I think I am. Very cool. I've probably had, if you're on Periscope and Twitch, come on over to YouTube. That's where I'm kind of paying attention to the chat. If you're on Twitch, Periscope, or Instagram, come on over here. You took a nap. Was it me that, was it my voice that put you in that state of nocturnal rest? Was that what it was, Dave? Did this show put you to, this isn't really a show. This is just me kind of going live and chatting with y'all. So, I got to get to work now that we've got that covered. Yes, late night Nez. No, it's Midnight Nez, Super Dave. Hashtag Midnight Nez. It's right there. Hashtag Midnight Nez. This is the second unveiling of Midnight Nez. And I kind of like Midnight Nez. And I think it'll be cool to bring more of them out there. It's maybe a more mellow version of Professor Nez, maybe a more mellow, kind of quiet, not so loud and gregarious and avalanche of energy, which I kind of like. It's just a different kind of vibology. I'm down, Neil says there's no better feeling than dropping a song and literally the whole crowd cheers. It's like a drug. It's better than drugs. That's got to be a fantastic feeling, yeah. I can imagine, when I get a laugh when I do a speaking gig and when I get the crowd bent to my will, it's got to be something similar. That's one of the greatest feelings on earth. That laughter, or that, like, you can feel their eyeballs just searing you, and they're riveted to what you're saying, and you get the goosebumps. That's very cool, Neil. That's awesome. You should write a book about it, man. You should do a live stream about that. That's pretty killer, dude. That's a great description. Neil's such a warrior poet, man. I love it. Neil. I appreciate you so much, brother. I really do. Louise says, never stop writing the story of your life. Ugly is an experience, and the outcome is up to you. Not all the time, but the interpretation is up to you. Yes, Midnight Nez, Modern Day Tech gets it. Good to see you, Eric. Always a pleasure to see you, Eric. How are things, man? I hope everything's well. Patty says that makes a lot. Yeah, it does. Midnight. It's 11 a.m. here. It's not even midnight here, but like it's more of a. It's more of an emotional time gauge. It's not a physical time gauge. Like, emotionally, it's Midnight Nez. It's that mood. It's that tone. You can see I don't have all my lights on. I've got my weird, funky lamp on. God knows why. I've got zero sleep because I had to go to this stupid conference with my kid's first grade teacher, which was a complete waste of time. Time for lunch. Oh, I wish I could eat right now. I'm so hungry. I'm going to try really hard not to eat when I get off this live stream. Midnight Nez also loves the midnight munchies, hence why I have this beautiful physique. Arthur. How are you, man, Arthur? Good to see you. 4,000 people, really, Neil? That's got to be an insane feeling. I think I've come close to being in front of that many people, but no. I'd have to say, honestly, I haven't been in front of a crowd that big. That's pretty killer, dude. That's pretty killer. Okay, I have to get going because I've got to get some work done here. And so I can't be gallivanting, and no more tomfoolery. No more ballyhoo. Neil's probably like, oh my God, this guy's killing me. Neil, try not to cringe too much, okay? I'm going to say goodbye to Instagram. Thank you so much for checking us out. Thank you so much for hanging out, Instagram. I'm going to say goodbye to y'all in just a second. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this sort of strange Midnight Nez kind of rant. Didn't really give any... it's okay, though. This is good. Mostly, I want to do more of these. Just kind of jump on purposelessly and just kind of say hello and say what's up and say what's happening. It's 12:18 here. Where are you again, Luis? You're on the East Coast, right? I think you are. Yeah, I feel like midnight. Nice, Sethi. Yeah, very good. Just had conferences. All these parents that don't get it. I was one of those parents. That don't get it. I definitely was one of those parents that don't get it. So I totally know what you're talking about. Man, as soon as they started getting in on, it's interesting because I don't know if you do this, Sethi, but it started off with, and I could sense here comes the blow. It started off with, here are Sammy's strengths. This is what we feel that he's doing good, right? I mean, it was like this, so like they're setting you up here. I mean, you're setting me up here for crying out loud, right? And then of course, once they got to the concerns, now we're going to discuss the concerns. My wife saw that look in my eye and she was like, oh no, here it comes. And, that's when I was kind of like, what the hell are we doing here? Why, how did this happen? There's a lot that went into it, but I don't know. I'm kind of one of those dudes who, I don't suffer fools and I can't stand propriety when it's invading or it's impeding progress and actual like realness. Does that make sense, you guys? Like I try my hardest to be the nicest. I'm a really easygoing dude. It's very rare that I get upset about anything. Of course, I'm human and I'm hurt by a lot of things. I actually get hurt by a lot of things, but I don't hold grudges. I don't. I want everybody to be in good spirits. I don't like having fun at the expense of somebody else. I want everybody to be included. I'm very inclusive. And God, I feel like I'm at an AA meeting right now. Hi, I'm Nez. I drink Jameson on Tuesday mornings. When there's that, I could sense the overbearing false politeness just invade the room, and I wanted to just light it up with a Zippo and just blow it all up because it just drives me crazy, that kind of fake propriety. I'm soft-hearted. Yeah, absolutely. Management asks that from many teachers, but thank goodness we are a different type of school. Positive, negative, end on a positive. Aha. So that is honest and open realness. That's good. And Sethi, remind me again, you're on the other side of the planet, right? Where are you? You're in Thailand, or where are you again? In Belgium? I can't remember. Bulgaria? I know I should know this. I apologize. Hi, I'm Neil, and I have strops, but I'll help anyone. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm all for being nice. I'm all for being nice. Hi, I'm Eric. Are you a food addict, Eric? I love food. I think sometimes more than sex. And I love sex. I can't believe I'm saying this on my channel. This is going to be unlisted. I'm going to unlist this. Let me guess. Hold on a second. Somebody help me out. If it's unlisted, how can you still watch it if it's unlisted? If it's shared or something like that? If you share the link? Oh, I love food. I mean, give me some good content to watch, some good TV or something, and some amazing food and a couch, and I'm in heaven. I can lay down and eat and a Diet Coke. Yes, Diet Coke's one of my favorite drinks of all time, especially cherry Diet Coke. Actually, I changed that. Diet Dr. Pepper is one of my favorite drinks of all time. Man, that just, this is just a sign of how much of a dad I am now, right? Like I used to say, give me a Stella or something, or a Heineken, but no, those days are gone. You have to share the unlisted link. Okay, that's what I thought. So if it's private, it doesn't matter if I share it. It's just private, right? Nobody can see it. I don't care. I'll probably leave it. It's not that big of a deal. Coke Zero. See, I can't do zero. The taste is like, it's so like, come on, commit. Either go diet or go full on Coke Zero. Give me a break. I can't do Coke Zero. And the taste is just, I don't think it, people think, oh, Coke Zero tastes like Coke. I don't think it does at all. As a matter of fact, I don't like the taste of Coke. I think Coke is just too sugary. I can't do it. You really like Coke Zero, Neil? Cherry Pepsi Max. Now, that's not a bad idea. But I'm not a fan of Diet Pepsi. I'm definitely a Diet Coke, dude. Are we going to talk about sex now? We might as well. There's really not that many topics that Midnight Nez can't talk about. So, this definitely is not going on my website. I'll tell you that much. But I can maybe have it in maybe I won't even put this on a playlist. I'll just kind of have this video float around somewhere. It's not going to really have any SEO to it, so it doesn't matter. Somehow there's already, I don't know why, but there shouldn't be. But somehow it's already saying this this damn restream that they put this in here. I don't know why. Because I can edit my video like while I'm live. Is that true? Like, am I still live right now? That's amazing if that's true. I can still edit this thing. Am I still live right now? Are you guys still there? Hold on a second. I don't know about this YouTube beta, man. This YouTube beta is driving me crazy. I can't do it. I just can't do this YouTube beta yet. It's just bugging me how many of you guys have already how many of you guys have already adopted have you guys adopted the beta yet? I don't even know if I'm still live. Hold on a second. Am I still live? Yes, still here. Okay, very cool. I had to quit drinking sodas. Yeah, sodas are not good for you. That's kind of cool that you can edit your video while you're live. I just edited the description there. So I took out the restream kind of link that already goes in there. You're live. Am I alive? I'm live. Hold on a second. Let me check. Let me see. Let me check. Yes, I'm alive. Thank God. Yeah, I don't like the beta at all. I just really like Studio Classic. And I just don't have the time I just need shit fast, man. I don't learn all these new buttons and configurations, God, YouTube. This is what happens when you're at the behest of a platform. When the platform owns you, you're in trouble. I'm not a big fan. I go back and forth. You go back and forth, Eric, between beta and classic. Is that right? Yeah, I kind of figured that. Okay, guys, I just want to say thank you. You guys rock. Thank you for joining me on this strange evening. I want to have more strange evenings like this. I love strange evenings, so I want to have more of these. And so maybe let me know, let me know in the comments if I was going to do more Midnight Nez's, which are really just impromptu. I don't want zero planning. I just want to go live. I just want to hang out, chat with you guys, and just let a natural conversation take place. Let me know in the chats, what do you think, what would be a good time for you guys? If I wanted to do more, obviously, Midnight Nez. So it's got to be sometime, it's got to be an evening stream on my end. If it's going to be Midnight Nez, it would make no sense to do it. Well, I guess that doesn't matter. Does that really matter if I do it at, yeah, maybe that doesn't matter. I'm not sure. Maybe that really wouldn't matter. But let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Do you guys think it would be better to do it? Is there a certain day? Is there a certain time? Is there a certain hour? The witching hour? Like, what would be a good time for you guys? What would you think? Beta looks like it has gone backwards, not forwards. Classic looks more usable and new. Yeah, I think they're trying too hard with the beta. Yeah, when is the cutoff time? Because I know there is a cutoff time, right? Like, we're going to all eventually have to go beta. When is that cutoff time? Hashtag strangeness. Sethi, I like that. Hashtag strangeness. Hopefully that's not a pejorative. Is that more MIDNIGHTNEZ? You like these, Super Dave? Just kind of go live with it's 4:39 a.m. here, so it's likely it's like early hour, Nez. Midweek, yeah, 3 a.m. my time. I don't think so. I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe there may be some kind of like do more Zoom. What do you mean do more Zoom, Arthur? You mean bring on more guests? So I talked to the boys over at Ecamm. You guys know I use Ecamm because it's such an amazing software. Notice the deadpan sarcastic look. But I have a Mac, and so Ecamm is like perfectly, kind of situated for Mac. But I already talked to the boys over there, and they're definitely saying that they're getting a lot more requests for they've been incorporating Skype. So I've been telling a lot of my podcast guests that, you got to have Skype, which most people do. But I'm hoping that they actually incorporate Zoom because I love Zoom and I want to get multiple guests on. I want to mix it up. I want to do shows. I've got my new segment called Social Media and Tech News, which I really love because we got so many awesome, educated people and just fantastic creators in the Nez Nation family, which I love. But I also want to add more segments to the channel. I want to add more looseness, more fun, more just kind of hangout kind of streams, kind of blab style, old school days, where we just kind of hang out and chat. I mean, I'm kind of inspired. I got to be honest. I'm inspired by Creator Chaos. I love what you guys do over there. It's just very loose. It's very fun. It's very informal. It just feels like you're hanging out with your friends. You're hanging out with your peers. You're hanging out with your colleagues. I'd love to do something like that on my channel and just mix it up, just mix it up. I think one of the most fun streams I've ever had is when I had, thank you so much, Sethi, for being here. You are dearly missed on our Sunday stream, my friend. It is fantastic to see you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. One of the most fun streams I ever had is when I had Neil on, I had Cricket on, I had Luis on. It was one of those shows where Chris Brogan was snowed in, who is an awesome dude, just an awesome dude. He was snowed in. It was that terrible blizzard that was hitting the East Coast. He was supposed to be a guest on the Nez Nation Live Personal Branding 101 podcast, which if you go to iTunes right now, you can just search Nez Nation Live and write us a 5-star review. I'd really appreciate it. And he got snowed in, so I didn't want to leave anybody hanging, so I just went live by myself. And Neil rocked it, and Luis rocked it, and I think we had a bunch of guests on. I can't remember. I think even Beth was on, and it was just fun. It was loose. It was real. It was honest. It was entertaining. It was funny. I laughed. Neil did an impression of me, which he rocked it. Neil really took over the show. I got to be honest. I was really impressed. Neil, I remember telling my wife afterwards, like, man, that bloke is a lot like me. He's just a kidder. He's a loosey-goosey. He's a kind of interesting dude. He's smart, but he's very funny. And so I want to maybe add some kind of new programming to the channel. Chillin' vibe stream. Yeah, something like that. It's all of us, not one person. It's all of us. Yes, it is. Chaos rocks. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love the Chaos stream. I think the Chaos stream is fantastic. So, maybe MIDNIGHTNEZ is my venture, my foray. And when they finally do incorporate Zoom, yeah, you remember that, Super Dave? That was a killer show, wasn't it? And I loved it, man. Neil, I loved every minute of it. When you were doing impressions of me, and you were literally roasting, you were roasting the crap out of me. I love that stuff. I think that's hilarious. I think the only way, how I measure if I'm going to get along with somebody is if they can laugh at themselves. If they can't laugh at themselves, I really separate into two kinds of people. People who can laugh at themselves and people who take themselves too seriously. I'm not trying to judge anybody because I hate judging people, but the people who take themselves seriously don't necessarily mesh well with me, and that's totally fine. That's totally okay. It's not a good mesh. That's all. It's a good barometer for me if I'm going to be able to hang with this dude or not. And so, man, that was a great exhibition of that on that show. Yeah, he really does, Patty. You guys have like sometimes 7, 8, 10 people on that show. And I agree with, I think it was maybe Mike or maybe Charlie or Beanie. I can't remember who said, you keep the conversation going so smoothly. I mean, I think I really, I call Todd.Live the David Letterman of live streaming. I think Neil is like that host that it's like the host with the most. It's almost like if you could maybe put I don't know, like I'm thinking, Conan, I'm thinking, even the zaniness of Jimmy Fallon, but the kind of almost the Walter Cronkite like professionalism and smoothness and his ability to transition into segues. I mean, Neil, you need to host more shows, dude. You need to host more shows, I think. Creators having awesome, outrageous stream. I love it. I don't think I ever knew that, Neil. I never knew that was an acronym. Or did you just come up with that? That's pretty cool, dude. I actually like that a lot. That is pretty cool. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah. Creators having awesome, outrageous stream. That's great. I didn't know that's what it was. If that's true, yeah, and I definitely think you should. I definitely think you should be. You've found your calling. You've definitely found your calling. I think you should. You are a phenomenal host. A phenomenal host. Okay, y'all. Daddy's got to get some work done before the morning hits, and I got to try to get a semblance of sleep tonight. And so thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for being here. You guys rock. I mean, I really, really, this crew, man, this Nez Nation family, Flash Fam, Crater Chaos, Niminati, what a fantastic live stream family. I feel honored to be a part of it. Neil, I owe you a picture, and I'm going to get you that picture tomorrow. Does it matter if I have like, the only black shirts I have are the ones that have Nez Nation, but it's a small Nez Nation just in the corner here on my chest. I'm sure, you could block it out, but you want me in a black shirt, is that right, Neil? I'll get you that tomorrow. Do you need me to stand up, or is it going to just be from the chest up? We got bored one night and started, oh yeah, oh man, that show. Yes. I think Jimmy Fallon, because Jimmy Fallon is good at, but it's like the British, but Jimmy Fallon's kind of a dweeb. I mean, he's sort of a people pleaser. Neil's not a people pleaser. He keeps things rolling, but he's going to tell you straight up if he likes you or if you're doing something that's shady or doing something that's just not on the up and up, which I love about him. Like I love the fact that he does that. So, yeah, I don't think he's total Fallon, but I do think that he's definitely got a little bit of Fallon in him, because Fallon can keep the conversation going. But no, it's not even that. I'll have to think. I can't really think right now, but standing up as well. Okay, waist up. Okay, cool. Just one more hour. Just one more hour? You want one more hour from me or no? Is he going for real? I was just settling in there. I've been known to do that, haven't I? Say that I'm leaving and then I end up talking for another 6 hours. It's so bad. Oh man, I really wish I could put myself in my student's chair. And I mean, I've recorded lectures before, but I don't think it's the same thing. Um, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I can't really. It's kind of. This is actually a compliment to you, Neil, because I don't think I can put the nail you at all. It's not like I was gonna say something like the Jack Parr or like the old school like Tonight Show hosts. Um, Maybe you're more like the British David Letterman, because David Letterman keeps the conversation going and he's very smart and very witty. I'd almost say maybe if there is somebody out there, I'd say it's more the British. I'd say it's more the British David Letterman. I would say. I don't know if there's a host out there in Britain right now or in England who exemplifies that, but yeah, I would say that. I'm having some serious white balance issues right now. Oh God. Okay, that's a lot better. I think. Is that a lot better? I think it is. Yeah. Okay, I think that's better. Okay. This is it. Good night. Good night, Luis. Keep going, Nez. Oh, yeah. Okay, that might be kind of good. Yeah, I think a little bit of Howard Stern's. Look at what Neil's doing. Neil's trying to get me to stay. He's going to get me talking on all sorts of topics. Yeah, I would say maybe a nice mix between Howard and David Letterman. I think that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I think you're you. I don't think you're like anybody, to be honest. But hosting and having people on and having some kind of a talk format, that is your domain, my friend. That is your domain. And you definitely have that. I love y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for such a long time. Just really quickly, I'm going to see if I'm still live on, I wonder if I'm still live on Periscope. I doubt it. Okay, I'm still live on Twitch. And it looks like I'm still live on Periscope. Very cool. Very nice indeed. I wonder how long this stream has been. How long has this stream been? Must have been a long time here. Let's see. We're looking at, an hour and 26 minutes. Wow. We are all chaos. I love you all. Have a wonderful night. Daddy's got to go get some work done. I'll see you guys on the next stream. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you guys next time. Ciao bella.